tuned in live to the show of the land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight we will talk about the Browns' magical season coming to an end. And then we will talk some college football, who's staying, who's entering the draft. We will talk about the Crunch and what they did this week. We will talk some basketball in Cali and some basketball here in the U.S. Then we will talk some hockey with the Blue Jackets and the Monsters. And we will talk about some basketball, or not basketball, baseball. And some other miscellaneous college sports news. But before we get started on all of that, big shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky. The jerky that's on a whole other planet. Be sure to check out Planet Jerky at planetjerky.net and get you some premium beef brisket jerky. Comes in a range of flavors, and they offer free shipping on all orders over $50. So get on now and order you some. You can also follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. And also be sure to check out IE Sports Radio on all of the socials: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Threads, at IE Sports Radio. And be sure to check out our website, iesportsradio.com, for the IE Sports Radio blog. Some information on all of the shows and the hosts of the shows, as well as the show lineups, who goes live when, and the Hall of Fame, the Fan of the Week, among many other things. Be sure to check out the IE Sports blog and get you some IE Sports gear in the IE Sports Radio shop. Now, let's talk some Browns. Wah, 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 wah. So, last week, the Browns designated Grant Delpit for return from IR. However, he was inactive for the game, and I guess he won't be back until next season. They also signed cornerback Kalen Barnes to the practice squad. Myles Garrett and Joel Bitonio were selected to the second annual NFLPA All-Pro team. Pierre Strong returned to practice, though he was ruled out for the game. Grant Delpit, Cedric Tillman, Dustin Hopkins were ruled out prior to the game, and then questionable were Mike Ford Jr., Pierre Strong, Juan Thornhill, and Denzel Ward. Pierre Strong was ruled out, as was Mike Ford, I believe. Juan Thornhill and Denzel Ward did play. So then the Browns played the Texans on Saturday. The Browns played well in the first half-ish. The Texans were covering Amari Cooper well, but the Browns stayed in the game, down 24-14 at the half. Joe Bitonio got banged up in the first half and was out for a time with an ankle injury, though he did return. Joe Flacco threw 2 pick sixes in the third quarter, and it was all downhill from there. And I turned the game off because it was hockey time. So I watched the Blue Jackets instead. So the Browns ended up losing 45-14 to C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. All in all, it was a great season for the Browns, overcoming injury after injury. But the magic wore off, and it has come to an end. Myles Garrett was named to the AP All-Pro First Team. Sorry, my computer is being weird. Anyway, but props to the Texans and special congratulations to former Buckeye CJ Stroud. Keep on fighting, CJ. This Buckeye fan is behind you the rest of the way. A special happy 39th birthday to Joe Flacco. Thank you for coming and taking us to the playoffs. Too bad it had to come to an end. But thank you, Joe, for the memories. It was a great end of the season, and we appreciate you coming in and at least giving us those wins to get us into the playoffs, clinching prior to the final week of the season, which was nice because that has not happened in a very, 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 very long time. With the season over, the Browns assigned the following players to reserves and futures contracts: wide receiver Jalen Darden, cornerback Vincent Gray, running back John Kelly Jr., tight end Zaire Mitchell-Payton, tackle Justin Murray, defensive end Lonnie Phelps, linebacker Charlie Thomas III, defensive end Isaiah Thomas, and defensive tackle Chris Williams. So the Browns have quite a few free agents. I do not have the list right now, but just off the top of my head, ones that I know for sure. Zadarius Smith, Shelby Harris, Anthony Walker, Sione Takitaki, Corey Bojorquez, Kareem Hunt. Who else? Who am I missing? I think. Oh, Maurice Hurst. I think there was another one. Oh, Harrison Bryant. Tight end, Harrison Bryant. So they've got some decisions to make and some possible extensions or letting guys walk. I do hope that they re-sign Corey Bojorquez, of course. He did very well this season. He was, I believe, averaging in the 50s for punts. It was around 59, though he did not do so well with his punts on Saturday, so that average might have gone down. But and then I don't know what they'll end up doing at the linebacker position. It's the second season in a row that Anthony Walker has missed significant time with injury, so I don't know that they'll re-sign him. JOK is really stepping into his own towards the end of the second half of the season, and pretty much took over that Mike linebacker position and the green dot duties. So we will see. I would expect that they'd re-sign at least one of those two linebackers, either Sione Takitaki or Anthony Walker. But like I said, given Anthony Walker's injury history the last two seasons, not so sure it will be him, though he is an amazing locker room presence and a great leader. I would love to see them re-sign Zadarius Smith, though I don't think that will happen. We'll see. But Alex Wright stepped up. We still have Okoronkwo under contract for, I believe, 2 more seasons. And then we drafted Isaiah McGuire, and the few games that he did play, he did show some sparks. So I think they're okay on the edge if they don't re-sign Zadarius Smith, but that would be spectacular. Oh, Jordan Elliott is also a free agent. So pretty much every defensive tackle except Dalvin Tomlinson is a free agent. So they will have to do something at defensive tackle. They'll have Dalvin Tomlinson and Siaki Ika, who they drafted this past year, who didn't get much playing time. So I think that is about all they will have left at DT. So they will have to make some decisions there and either re-sign some guys or go out and get some free agents at defensive tackle. But I think we're pretty solid at defensive end. They, like I said, they signed Lonnie Phelps and Isaiah Thomas to reserves futures deals. So they've got those two in their back pocket. And then they have Isaiah McGuire, Obo Okoronkwo, Myles Garrett, of course, Alex Wright. So they're pretty good at defensive end if they don't re-sign Za'Darius. So we'll see what happens there. They definitely do need to, like I said, do something at defensive tackle. I don't expect many, if any, coaching changes. If there are any, it will be because guys got opportunities at higher level with other teams, but I don't expect any major coaching changes. So that is a positive. We're not we're out of the coaching carousel. Woohoo! So we'll see over the next few weeks where things go as far as roster changes, updates, and how it appears they're looking at the draft. So we'll get into some of those things over the next few weeks. More details on free agents and positions that the Browns need to look at. Another one that they will most likely need to look at is tight end, because I believe the only tight end who will still be under contract is David Njoku. I'm pretty sure they only signed Jordan Akins to a 1-year contract, and then this was Harrison Bryant's last year under contract. So they'll need to do something at tight end. Oh, Nick Harris is also a free agent. So I don't know that they would re-sign Nick Harris. They did use him more as a fullback this season than a lineman. He did have to step in at lineman a couple of times due to injury. But they... sorry. I'm still battling this cold and I'm losing my voice a little bit. But anyway, they did draft Luke Whippler from Ohio State, who is a center. So, with Ethan Posick and Luke Whippler. And then they also have Dawson Deaton, who is a center and has been on IR for the last 2 years. So, I don't know that they'll re-sign Nick Harris, but, they may re-sign him as a fullback. We'll see. He did play a significant role there at fullback, so we'll see what happens there. But that's going to pretty much wrap things up with the Browns. Not much happening right now, but I'll keep an eye on things and bring you some updates over the next couple of months as things progress. But I don't expect anything major until the free market until free agency starts. I believe it's in March. So there may be some restructured contracts and things of that nature, but I don't expect anything significant probably until March. But we'll see. If anything comes up, I will definitely get that news to you. On to some college football. Ohio State's Denzel Burke has decided to stay for his senior year. Donovan Jackson has also decided to stay, as has a Jordan Hancock. Marvin Harrison Jr. has declared for the 2024 NFL Draft. Travion Henderson is also returning. So some good players returning for the Buckeyes. So that is good to hear. Be interested to see how the quarterback situation plays out. I mean, Travion Henderson staying is huge, so they'll have a solid running back. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Will Howard and Devin Brown at quarterback. Mount Union's Wayne Ruby was invited to the 2024 Hula Bowl, and I was just checking out the stats in the roster, and it does not appear that he chose to attend. So, I don't have any numbers for you because it doesn't look like he played. Akron's cornerback Judson Tallendier was invited to the FBS All-American Tropical Bowl, which will be this coming Saturday. Kent State's DJ Miller was also invited, so good luck to those guys. And then the Cleveland Crunch played their second game of the season. And crazy. You're not going to believe the score. Indoor soccer. Okay? This is indoor soccer. The Cleveland Crunch beat Lima, Ohio Extreme 23-0. That's right. I double checked because I didn't believe it either. 23-0. The Crunch's next match will be Saturday, January 27th against Lima, Ohio Extreme. Hopefully, over the next 2 weeks, Lima, Ohio Extreme figures out how to make a game a little more competitive, because 23-0 in soccer? Come on! That is absurd. Anywho, that is going to wrap things up for all things football and football. And I am going to take a short break and get something to drink, try and clear out my throat a little bit so I can talk a little bit better for the rest of the show. But thank you for joining me, Jen B, on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Stay right here and we'll be right back.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Hey yo, what's up? It's your man Bishop, the voice of This Is KC Sports, the show where we go over the Chiefs, the Royals, KC Current, Sporting KC, MU, and oh yeah, if we got time, we'll even throw in some of that KU stuff from our people on the 913 South. Come and hang out with us every Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Before we get started on some basketball, let's give a shout out to the chat room. Taryn Rodriguez says, tough end for those Browns. I thought they were going to pull off the win. Alas, it was to no avail. I did too, Taryn. I did too. That was a disappointing game, to say the least. Taryn says, but if the Browns get everyone healthy and they stay healthy, watch out, AFC. Agreed. I'm hearing that Deshaun Watson is progressing well through his rehab, as is Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson is expected to be ready to go for, I believe, OTAs, if not OTAs, training camp. Nick Chubb, not sure yet. Kevin Stefanski didn't have a definitive update on his return, but he is expected to be back for the 2024 season. I'm just not sure when. If it will be, prior to the season or during the season. His surgery was pretty extensive, and as I discussed previously, he had to have 2 surgeries. So he is walking, and I believe it was without a cane. If I saw correctly, he was on the sideline for the game on Saturday. I did not see him using any assistance, so that is a positive, but we'll see where things go with him. Kareem Hunt did say in his end of season press conference that he expects Nick Chubb to be back and as good as ever. So we'll see. Kareem Hunt also said he's going to test the free agent market, but he would not be opposed to returning to the Browns, of course. And he will always root for the Browns because it is his hometown team. And he hopes, whether it's with or without him, that they do bring home that Super Bowl championship. And Ralph Calise, host of the Yinzer Report, which was just on right before me, for all things Pittsburgh sports, He says, have a great show. Let's team up and root against Baltimore. Absolutely, Ralph. Go Texans. And a shout out to Larry B. Says, hey, Jen. Taryn is the host of our Set Point show for all that is volleyball. So be sure to check that out if you're into volleyball. And then he is also the host of our SoCal Supreme Sports show for all things SoCal sports. He also co-hosts 3 and Out College Edition with Larry B. Larry B is the host of 3 and Out College Edition, The Defining Moment, and co-host with his lovely wife, Cecilia, of the Sports Couple Perspectives. So be sure to check out those shows and all the great shows on IE Sports Radio. Now for some Cavs. On Thursday, the Cavs played the New Jersey Nets in Paris. The starting 5 were Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of the first quarter, the Cavs were up 26-16. The end of the half, they were up 54-34. At the end of 3, they were up 78-60, and they ended up winning 111-102. Tristan Thompson was ejected with a flagrant 2 after a scuffle on the court. I did not see the game because since it was in Paris, it was at a weird time, and I was working. So I was not able to watch this one, but so I don't know exactly what happened with Tristan Thompson, but apparently he got in a fight. Donovan Mitchell had a double-double with 45 points and 12 rebounds. Jarrett Allen also had a double-double with 12 points and 12 rebounds. Then last night, the Cavs played the Chicago Bulls in Cleveland. The starters were Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of the first quarter, they were up 40-21. At the end of the half, they were up 60-46. At the end of 3, they were up 80-77. And they ended up winning 109-91. Donovan Mitchell led with 34 points, and Jarrett Allen had another double-double with 10 points and 14 rebounds. Darius Garland has received the okay to resume basketball activities with his fractured jaw. He is still on a strict liquid-only diet, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes, because I can't imagine playing basketball on a liquid-only diet. It's fun. But, you know, it is what it is. I've not heard any updates yet on Evan Mobley's status or Ty Jerome, who has been out most of the season with an ankle injury. Evan Mobley was on about the same time frame as Darius Garland, so I would expect that he should be at least getting back to practice soon. But the Cavs' next games are Wednesday against the Milwaukee Bucks, Saturday in Atlanta against the Hawks, and Monday in Orlando against the Magic. So good luck to the Cavs as they try and continue their winning ways. That's another undefeated week for the Cavs. That's 2 in a row. That means they're on a 5-game winning streak, so that's pretty awesome. Keep it up, Cavs. The Charge did not fare as well this week. On Wednesday, they played the Indiana Mad Ants and won 113-105. Pete Nance had a triple-double with 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists. Saturday, they played the Texas Legends, and as the Charge social media account said, it's not a good day in Texas for Cleveland teams. The Charge lost 120-94. Sharif Cooper led with 17 points. Monday, they played the Westchester Knicks and lost 126 to 111. Pete Nance led with 18 points, and Zaire Smith had a double-double with 16 points and 10 rebounds. The Charges' next games are tonight against the Westchester Knicks again, Saturday against the Birmingham Squadron, and Monday against the Osceola Magic. Now for some college basketball. Ohio State on Wednesday played number 11 Wisconsin and lost 71 to 60. Monday they played Michigan and lost again 73 to 60. Their next game is Saturday against Penn State. Hopefully they can get a win against one of the Big Ten teams. Kent State played a Tuesday against Toledo and lost 89 to 75. And then on Saturday, they were at Central Michigan and lost 77 to 62. These Ohio teams are not faring well this week. Their next games tonight at NIU and Friday against Akron. Akron played Tuesday, and they had a much better outing against Ball State, and they won 80 to 76. Friday, they played Buffalo and won 76 to 59. Shout out to Patty Bax, who just joined us in the chat. Congratulations to your Bills on their victory yesterday over the Steelers and moving on to the divisional round where they will face the Kansas City Chiefs in Buffalo. That should be a really good game. Akron played Buffalo and won 76 to 59. Their next game is tonight against Western Michigan, and then Friday against Kent State. Youngstown played Fort Wayne on Wednesday and won 93 to 85. Friday they played Wright State and won 81 to 71. Their next games are Wednesday at Oakland and Saturday at Detroit Mercy. Cleveland State on Friday played Milwaukee and lost 88 to 80. And then Sunday at Green Bay, they lost 79 to 71. Their next game is Saturday against Fort Wayne. Mount Union on Wednesday played number 8 John Carroll, and they lost 96 to 61. That is only Mount Union's second loss, but boy, was it a big one. And then Saturday they played Heidelberg and won 84 to 79. Their next games are tomorrow against Marietta and Saturday at Wilmington. And that is going to wrap things up for all things basketball. Patty in the chat says, "Go Bills." I'm going to agree with you on that. Go Bills. I think Kansas City has done it enough. It's time for somebody else to get in there. So go Bills. I am going to take another short break, and then I will be back to talk hockey, baseball, and some miscellaneous college sports. So stay tuned to the Show of the Land with me, Jen B, on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So now, some hockey. On Tuesday, the Blue Jackets played the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets got on the board first. And at the end of one, the Blue Jackets were down 1-0. And then the Jets scored a goal and another goal. And the Blue Jackets were down 3-0 at the end of 2. Then the Jets scored 2 more goals. And the final was 5-0 Jets. Not a great showing for the Blue Jackets. On Saturday, they played the Seattle Kraken. Ivan Provorov scored the first goal. Then the Kraken tied it up. Then Provorov got another goal, and the Blue Jackets were up 2-1. Then the Kraken tied it up again, and it was 2-2 at the end of 1. Kirill Marchenko got a power play goal, bringing the score to 3-2. It was Marchenko's 100th NHL goal. Then the Kraken tied it back up. Then the Kraken took the lead. And it was 4-3 at the end of 2. Emil Bemstrom got a goal in the third. And then the Kraken got 3 more goals. And they won 7-4. Monday, the Blue Jackets played the Vancouver Canucks. They were down 2-1 at the end of the first period. Then they were down 3-2 at the end of the second period. The Blue Jackets tied it up in the third, and it went into overtime, and then it went into shootout. And the Blue Jackets won off of a Kirill Marchenko goal during the shootout. Dmitry Voronkov had 2 goals for the Blue Jackets, and Yegor Chinnikov had the other goal. And then, of course, Marchenko had the winning goal in the shootout. The Blue Jackets play again on Friday against the New Jersey Devils, and that will actually be their only game over the next week. Sean Corelli is back from IR, and in a corresponding move, the Blue Jackets sent Brendan Gaunce back to the Monsters, and goaltender Elvis Merzlikins has requested a trade. In his words, he is not a number 2 or a number 3, so he wants a better opportunity. Whatever, Elvis, whatever. That is... I'm not impressed with Elvis this year. He's been ill more than he's been healthy. He's been in and out of games. He has left 2 games with illness, and I'm doing finger quotes. I know you can't see me, but I'm doing finger quotes. and was on IR with an illness at one point. And then they got Daniil Tarasov back from IR and wanted to give him some playing time so he could get back into the speed of the game and all of that fun stuff. And Elvis Merzlikins basically threw a temper tantrum. He was a healthy scratch for a few games, but the Blue Jackets do have 3 goaltenders, so somebody has to be a healthy scratch. He was not a healthy scratch every game. For some games, he was the number 2, but, whatever. And this all seems to have started after the fight with Wilson against the Capitals back in December. So I have a feeling there's just some bad blood there all the way around, because I do believe Merzlikins was, shall we say, scolded for not maintaining his composure, because his little fight with Wilson did end up costing the Blue Jackets the game. So, it is what it is. I am going to just move on. Possibly he will be traded, and when that happens, I will bring you that news. But other than that, I don't have much more to say about Elvis Merzlikins. For the Monsters, Jake Christensen, Trey Fix-Wolanski, and Jet Greaves have been named to the AHL All-Star team. The Monsters loaned Pavel Kajan to the Kalamazoo Wings and signed Hunter Vorva to a PCO contract. On Friday, they played the Utica Comets and lost 5-4. Jake Gaudette, Owen Sillinger, James Malatesta, and Hunter McCowan had goals for the Monsters. Saturday, they played the Syracuse Crunch and lost 3-2 in a shootout. Mikhail Pyatia and Hunter McCowan had the goals for the Monsters. Their next games are Friday against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and then Saturday also against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. In our miscellaneous college news, Cleveland State's women's basketball player Destiny Leo has been named a finalist for Female Collegiate Athlete of the Year at the Greater Cleveland Sports Awards. And Cleveland State's Michaela Purdue was named Horizon League Women's Basketball Player of the Week. So congratulations to both those ladies. Then for the Guardians signed 25 international free agents. And I'm going to just name those off real quick for you. If I can pronounce them. Willenire Ardiles from Venezuela. He is a right-handed pitcher. Infielder Daryl Arias. Outfielder Robert Arias, both from the Dominican Republic. Alejandro Blasco, infielder from Venezuela. Uniker Cáceres from Venezuela, outfielder. Carlos Curipa, outfielder from Venezuela. Hector Castillo, right-handed pitcher from the Dominican Republic. Yeferth Castillo, outfielder from Venezuela. Steven Cruz, infielder from the Dominican Republic. Luis de la Cruz from the Dominican Republic, infielder. Dory Fernandez, infielder from the Dominican Republic. Miguel Flores, left-handed pitcher from Cuba. Randy Martinez, infielder from Venezuela. Esteval Murillo, outfielder from the Dominican Republic. Adelvis Perez, right-handed pitcher from Cuba. Alejandro Rivera, right-handed pitcher from Venezuela. Gabriel Rodriguez, infielder from Venezuela. Johan Rodriguez, infielder from Cuba. Romer Tavares, outfielder from the Dominican Republic. Osmar Torrealba, outfielder from Venezuela. Winder Torres, catcher from Venezuela. Eric Tovar, right-handed pitcher from Venezuela. Raul Trujillo, right-handed pitcher. Oh my gosh. My phone is being weird. Hold on. Right-handed pitcher from Venezuela. Delny Uribe, right-handed pitcher from the Dominican Republic. And Santiago Usteres, catcher from Venezuela. So congratulations to those guys. Hopefully they will get their shot in the MLB with the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians also hired Dan Puente as Major League assistant hitting coach, and he is from the Chicago Cubs. In the chat, Patty also says, sorry about the Browns, but it was an incredible season, lots to build on. Yes, I absolutely agree. It was an incredible season. They after Chubb went down and then Deshaun Watson, of course, nobody expected them to make it to the playoffs, including me. When Nick Chubb went down, I was like, ugh. The season is like, it's not over, but it just got harder. And then when Deshaun Watson went down and our backups were Dorian Thompson-Robinson and PJ Walker, I was like, ugh, our season is definitely over. But, they found a way to win. And then they went out and got Joe Flacco and found more ways to win. So that speaks volumes of the coaching staff and the drive these players have. And, a good majority of the core players will be back. And, like I said earlier, we'll see what happens with the free agents. The Cavs on a 5-game winning streak. So that is pretty awesome for the Cavs. Hopefully they can keep that going. The Crew doesn't start again until February. The Crunch with a 23-point win in soccer. 23 points. My mind is still blown on that. Still blown. The Blue Jackets, the Blue Jackets are the Blue Jackets. The Monsters are still in first place, so hopefully they can continue to progress. I have a friend who is a huge Monsters fan, and he's more a Monsters fan than a Blue Jackets fan. He is a Blue Jackets fan, but since the Monsters are here in Cleveland, he follows them more closely than he does the Blue Jackets, and he is concerned that if the Blue Jackets do end up trading Elvis Merzlikins, that they will end up calling up Jet Greaves from the Monsters, who is having an amazing season for the Monsters. And the couple of games he played for the Blue Jackets, he played extremely well also. He actually set some records for most saves in first 3 games, or I believe that's what it was. So he did amazingly when he was up here with the Blue Jackets while Merzlikins was on IR before Tarasov came back. So I told him I don't think he has to worry, because before Tarasov came off of IR, they were going with just Merzlikins and Martin, and they only called Jet Greaves up when Merzlikins went on IR, leaving them with only Spencer Martin. So I told him, I said, as long as Daniil Tarasov and Spencer Martin stay healthy, I don't think he has to worry about losing Jet Greaves, but we will see what happens. And I will keep an eye on the Elvis Merzlikins news and see if a trade materializes. Hopefully the Blue Jackets can get something decent out of it if that does happen. And that's gonna wrap things up. So let's cue the music. That is all for tonight. Thank you for joining me, Jen B, on the Show of the Land. Be sure to follow me on X, Instagram, and Threads at BelieveLandGirl. And you can follow me on TikTok at Jen, JENN, .BelieveLand. You can also follow the show for daily updates on Cleveland and Columbus sports news on X at Show of the Land IE. Next up is the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax for all that is Buffalo sports. And I'm sure she has a lot to cover with that great win yesterday in the Super Wild Card weekend and the crazy, crazy weather up in Buffalo. Be sure to catch me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Show of the Land for more on Cleveland and Columbus sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great night, Ohio.
Bye.